Hello and welcome to Creative AI. I am PixelPia and this is my series I call The Prompt Lab, where we experiment in MidJourney. Today we are going to dive into two new functions or one new feature, which is experimental --exp. And the second one is style reference, which is --sref. Style reference is not new, but I think it was last week MidJourney announced that style reference now works differently in MidJourney 7. So if you try to use some of your old style reference numbers, they might not come out as you expected. Together, style reference and experimental makes you create a wild variety of images. And today we are going to play around with both of them. So let's move over to my computer. So here we are in my MidJourney. And we are going to work with the following prompt today. A close-up of an eye where you see a sunset reflected in the pupil. We are first of all just gonna generate it without any settings. And as you can see, I have all the aesthetics set to nothing here. I'm working in standard mode and 4:3 format. As I said, sref now works a little different. So here we have the first outcome of sref. Let's take a look at these images. And this is with no sref at all. And they are pretty fantastic, I must say, without any added information. But as I said, we can use style reference. So let's say that we want the same prompt, but we want to use an image of our own as a style reference. We can either go in here and upload an image, or in this case we can grab one of our own images, and you see the third little rectangle here is style reference. You can also to that add style value by writing --SW and then a number. But for this test we are just dragging in the image as it is and send it. But as I said, we can also add a style reference here. And one of the things I like to do is write --sref and then space and random. And in this case, I can create up to 2 at a time in the version I am paying for. So I do a bracket, a comma, a space, and 2 and another bracket. This will make 2 different versions with a random sref of the same image. And while it's working on that, let's see the images where we used the same prompt but added this warrior woman as a style reference. And these are pretty fantastic. Look at the details here. It's crazy. So that was with an image we uploaded. Here are the 2 random style references. I don't know what to call them, but they are interesting, I must say. And that is the purpose when I do these prompts, to just experiment. And these are a painterly style. I really like them. And as you see here on the side, we get the sref code, a new number of style reference for them. And let's see the second version. That's very interesting too. It's a little star-like in the outer edges here, like sky, space or something. Let's do one more with random. I can just write --sref random. And here we have another style, random style of the same prompt. Let's go in here. I have played with this earlier and here is a style that I really like, that I got as a random style. But we can add this sref code here and go back to create and add this prompt again, the same prompt with that sref code. And this is more of a pencil drawing with some realistic pieces around it, and I really like this style. So that was sref, and you get all the codes except when you use an image of your own, you have the reference image. But now let's see what the experimental can do. Experimental don't have a setting here. We have image prompt, style reference, omni reference, which I will talk about next week. And we have the animation, which I talked about in my last video. But we don't have a setting for experimental. And we don't have it really in here either. So we need to use the --exp. Experimental value score goes from 0 to 100. And what it does is that the higher the number, the more chaos or the more MidJourney can deviate from the actual prompt. In this case, we don't have a very detailed prompt, so we'll probably not see a lot of difference. They also said on their post about the experimental that the values between 50 up to 100 doesn't make much changes, but we are gonna see. We use the prompt with experimental 0 first just to get the eye. It will probably be different from the first 4 eyes we've got here. But as you see, when you don't have any style reference, at least in my case, I usually see photorealistic images. So here are the 4 images with no experimental, and they are very interesting, I must say. So let's put a value here, and we are going to try a few values. We are going to try 10 first of all. We are also going to try 25. We are going to try 50. And as you see, to save me some time, I just click down here, experimental 50, to get it up there, and then change the numbers, this case, to 75. And we're going to do one that is 100. And now let's go back. We had the 4 first. What they say is with 10 as we have here, they add a little bit more atmosphere and texture. It's not a big difference, but it is a little different. And I really love these images. That was experimental 10. Now we go up to experimental 25. And we see something more happening than just the sunset in this eye. It adds a little bit more interest. Experimental 50, experimental 75, and experimental 100. And as you can see, with all of these, we can then go in and vary them subtle, strong, or start an animation. But as I said, the really big difference comes when we combine them. So let's do the same prompt, and let's say we want this style code, the pencil drawing, and we want experimental 10. Now it can really help us loosen up our mind and get new ideas and see new ways of creating images. And while this is working, let's pick another style to combine it with. Maybe this image again. And you see, I just click on the image I used down here and it ends up here. And let's do experimental. Let's really push it on this. Experimental 50. So here we have the images with a style reference, of the drawing image and experimental 10. Oh, I like that image. I like them all, but this was really nice. I think I'm gonna heart that so it ends up in my... That's how I usually do when I want to save sref codes or something like that. That I'm gonna reuse. Now let's look at the one that we combined with the image prompt and experimental 50 here. Oh, these are great images. Look at the intensity of the details around that eye. Oh wow, here, dripping down from his eye. Here they added an interesting background. Let's make it look. This is really interesting. Here is a whole cityscape in his eye. I really like those. So let's see. One more thing. Let's use the same prompt, add this image as a style reference, and add this style code and experimental 25. So now we combine two style reference, one image and one sref code. So it will take inspiration from both of these styles when it creates our eye here. And experimental 25 I used. Let's do the exact same thing but with experimental 0 to compare. So these are the two style references, the pencil drawing, the almost totally black and white woman here, warrior, and experimental 25. Oh, I like that. It was much more of the pencil drawing in this image. And I like this one too. But I think I liked this the most, so I'm gonna heart it. And here we have with experimental 0. They are really nice images. I really like the combination of these two styles. So let's see. Let's try a totally different prompt. A close-up of a dog face. Simple prompt. And let's grab one of these that were a combination of both of them. I think that's the one I like. And add that as a style reference. Let's look at the dog. And this was with the combination, with the style reference of the combination of the drawing and the warrior woman. These are really neat images. So here we have our original prompt with a style reference in form of an image that was a combination of the style reference number and our image. So let's take a closer look at those. Oh, I love this one. I love this one too. This is really impressive, I must say. So when are you using these functions? Well, I use it to experiment. Just as I did with draft, I use this to test new things, come up with ideas when it comes to style. I can also save images here that I like these combinations, and build a mood board from them. Or just be very inspired. I mean, an image like this really inspires me to create more art images. So what it's not used for, the experimental, the style you can use when you want to be very precise how your image looks. But experimental is not to be used when you know what you need, what you absolutely want to get out of your image. Well, this I can go on and play for hours, but instead of you watching me play, I encourage you to go and do your own play on MidJourney. MidJourney version 7 isn't just a prompt engine. It is a creative playground. With --sref, you choose the style. And with --exp, you choose the chaos. Used together, They let you design your unpredictability. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. In the next episode of the Prompt Lab, we will take a look at another new feature, the Omni reference. And if that is something you're interested in, I suggest that you subscribe and maybe even hit the bell so you get notified. Until next time, as always, stay curious. Bye!